Tonight, 2 juveniles were arrested after a burglary at Pinckneyville's Stotler drugstore. More next. Plus, the lawyer for murder suspect Gage Bethune sends a letter to the lawmakers urging them to stop meddling in the case. More coming up. Plus, Heron police are looking for these 3 individuals spotted at a gas station. Those stories and more tonight on a Thursday night edition of News 24 at 10. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of news to get to tonight, but we begin in Pinckneyville, where 2 juveniles were arrested after a burglary at Pinckneyville's Stotler drugstore on October 30th. The break-in happened around 2:15 a.m. 2 suspects broke the drive-up window and the front window. In surveillance video, the 2 suspects were seen entering the store with masks. An alarm sounded after the windows were broken and the 2 left the store. Police say 2 juveniles from Pinckneyville were arrested and charged with burglary. Further charges are pending against one of the suspects, but police did not provide further information. The lawyer for murder suspect Gage Bethune sends a letter to the lawmakers urging them to stop meddling in the case. Stephen Greenberg criticized a group of lawmakers, U.S. Representative Janet Sharkowski, State Representatives Terry Bryant, Linda Lavia, and Lou Lang. He said they tried to influence the Illinois Attorney General's office in regards to a complaint filed against Judge Mark Clark. In September, Judge Clark tossed out a jury's conviction against Gage Bethune in the 2014 killing of Praveen Varghese. Lovely Varghese, Praveen's mother, said she asked each lawmaker to call the Attorney General's office and urge it not to intervene in the appeal of Judge Clark's decision. The Illinois Supreme Court declined to hear the complaint last week. Bryant said she called the Attorney General's office, but only to find out what it was going to do in regards to the Illinois Supreme Court complaint. She said she never intended to interfere with the case itself, and if Greenberg feels she did anything wrong, he should report it to the Office of the Executive Inspector General. Bryant added that she's been friends with Varghese since before Bethune was indicted, and she added multiple memorials for Praveen. Greenberg declined to comment further, saying the letter speaks for itself. Heron police are looking for these individuals spotted at a gas station. If you see them, contact their police department. To the weather, where the chilly weather continues to stick around, here's Terry Ann with the latest. All right, thanks, Terry. Turning to Franklin County, where Franklin County continued its slide to the right Tuesday, keeping up with the trend it set in 2016. Known for being a Democratic county in this year's election, Franklin County ousted 8-year Sheriff Don Jones and instead elected retired Illinois State Police investigator Dave Bartoni, a Republican. When asked if he felt like his loss was just a matter of being a leftist, Jones was quick to brush that off. Jones said the jury is still out on his next steps, but he did know one thing for certain. Also out is Jones's son, Keith Jones, as treasurer. Republican Steve Versalanio took that seat in the county's 3rd district. Democratic incumbent Danny Melvin was replaced by Republican Kevin Weston. Republican Jack Warren kept his seat on the county board. Newcomer Republican Larry Miller took a seat in the 2nd District, and beside him, also a newcomer, is Democrat Ray Minor. As the coal industry has shrunk in the county, so has support for the Democratic Party. In 2016, many party members said the party that used to be behind labor has moved its focus to social issues, and this caused a lot of people to change parties. The county's Democratic Party chair, Jim Eaton, said the national party hasn't moved much more since then to help the local party. Looking at Tuesday's election, Eaton made one observation. He said this was especially apparent in Jones's loss. The region kept with this trend as well, returning most Republican incumbents in major races to their seats. Randall Crocker is a Democrat and the county's board chair. He maintained his seat Tuesday. However, the race was essentially contested as he and Neil Hargis were the only two running for 2 seats in the 1st District. That interview from 2016, identifying those in the LGBTQ community as part of those special interest groups, Crocker said often that he does not condone discrimination, but also does not see it as a particularly big issue in the region. This hasn't changed for him. Crocker, who has been in county politics nearly 2 decades, said that people, right or wrong, seem to think Republicans have their best interests in mind. Crocker said Jones likely was just caught up in this perception, and unlike Jones, Crocker does think Jones's loss comes down to something as simple as party changes. And for more on our interview with Don Jones, visit our website at www.news24si.com. To Carbondale tonight, where Indivisible Carbondale, a group that focuses on the Carbondale area and works to facilitate joint action with other groups to fight the Republican agenda, gathered people from around the area to participate in a nationwide rally. It's being called Nobody is Above the Law. The rally is meant to show support for Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. With the resignation of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, many people at these rallies are concerned that the new acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker, will take control of the investigation. There are nearly 900 similar rallies expected to be held across the U.S. The rallies are to make sure that Matt Whitaker does not have oversight of the Russia investigation and must allow the investigation to continue. Elizabeth Malone, the founder of Indivisible Carbondale, spoke about what their biggest concern with the new acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker, is. Mrs. Malone said they plan to continue the fight against the investigation. Much more local news, sports, and weather is coming up next, but first, here's your Fox News update.
In Fox News. Looking for answers. I'm Lisa Latera, Fox News. 12 people killed, many more hurt after a gunman opened fire at a crowded bar in Southern California. The gunman then took his own life. Jason Kaufman found out his 22-year-old son Cody was among the 12 killed at Borderline Bar and Grill.
This is going to be an absolute heart-wrenching time for me and my family.
Ventura County Sheriff Jeff Dean says they had previous interactions with the suspect in this case, Marine Corps veteran 28-year-old Ian David Long, including in April when they responded to a disturbing the peace call at his home.
They called out our crisis intervention team, our mental health specialist, who met with him and cleared him, didn't feel that he was qualified to be taken under 5150.
Aside from the 11 people killed in the bar, Sergeant Ron Helis was killed when he went inside to confront the shooter. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal in Thousand Oaks, California. Florida's Senate race remains razor thin, and tonight Republican Rick Scott, the current governor, announcing lawsuits against officials in Broward and Palm Beach counties.
No ragtag group of liberal activists or lawyers from D.C. will be allowed to steal this election from the voters in this great state. I am proud to be the next senator from the great state of Florida and look forward to going up there and making Washington work for all
The
Americans.
spokesman for Scott's opponent, incumbent Democrat Bill Nelson, saying Scott's move appears to be partisan, while Democrat Andrew Gillum, himself in a recount battle in the governor's race, tweeting, "Counting votes isn't partisan, it's democracy." A tight race in Arizona, too, as Democrat Kristen Sinema now slightly leads Republican Martha McSally in the Senate race. McSally's team issuing a statement reading in part, they remain confident that as votes continue to come in from counties across the state, Martha McSally will be elected Arizona's next senator. This is Fox News.
Stop.
From senior Olympic champion archer to lover of the outdoors. Dislocated vertebrae and pinched nerves in her spine. That Sharon feeling trapped and in seek of help. Thanks to the precision and accuracy of the SIH Brain and Spine Institute, she's back on target and once again, free. Only SIH.
I chose Integrity Roofing to do the roof because they offered not only the lowest price, but they offered the kind of roof that I wanted. I wanted a rubber membrane roof because that's what was on it before, and they were able to do that.
Choose Integrity Roofing and Exteriors for your next commercial project. With quality service that gets the job right the first time. Integrity matters.
You owe it to yourself to come in here.
When you lose your teeth, you lose not just the ability to chew and eat and smile, which is a big thing, but you lose a part of yourself.
It was life-changing when I came into doctor. He showed me videos and models, and these are the choices we had. These were the options.
I had tried dentures and they were not successful.
For people that are frustrated with wearing dentures, we have new methods and techniques to give people basically a third set of teeth.
When you have an extraction or an implant put in your first life, that's going to hurt. I was completely comfortable through this. Dr. Hughes and his staff, they're wonderful.
Training matters, experience matters. The thing which is extremely important is compassion. It brings back your ability to chew.
Come in and see doctor. It's the greatest thing I ever did for myself.
You're restoring a sense of dignity. That's a life-changing event for many, many people. And it's something that we do here on a daily basis at Houston Arts Center.
It took us years to find the perfect bun for Culver's new Pretzel House Pub Burger.
It's got the nice pretzel flavor on the outside, but when you open it up, it's light and airy. It's got a nice sweet flavor to it. It literally melts in your mouth.
This bun is perfect for a Pretzel House Pub Burger. Seared Midwest beef, tangy mustard bistro sauce, pickled red onions, 2 slices of bacon, served with our signature cheddar cheese sauce.
This bun was made for this burger. This is perfect.
I think it's an awesome burger. Welcome to Delicious.
Open your eyes, reach for a nice cup of
Wakey Juice! Cocoa Beans! Sugar Java! Electric Elixir!
your morning cafe. Whatever you call it, get any size at McDonald's for just $1. Fall in love with IHOP's fall combos with a big old breakfast plate and a side of Cinestack or pumpkin spice pancakes made with real pumpkin. Fall pancakes are back at IHOP starting at $4.99.
Hey. Shut the door. All right, thanks, Terry. Turning back to Carbondale this evening, where 2 suspects were arrested by Carbondale police on November 7th. Officials said at around 1:52 p.m., Best Buy employees say 2 suspects hid more than $200 of merchandise and left the store without offering payment. The suspects were later identified as 19-year-old Destiny M. Johns and 20-year-old Lamont P.D. Brinson. Theft suspects were arrested after the chase. Employees told officials they confronted the 2, who then fled the scene in their vehicle. Later that day at 2:52 p.m., a caller to the department said the Dollar General at Giant City and Walnut, a person pointed a gun at them. The caller gave the same vehicle and suspect description of that at the Best Buy. Officers said they found the vehicle and took both suspects into custody. Brinson was charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, assault, UUW by a felon, possession of a stolen firearm, resisting an officer, possession of a substance, endangering the life and health of a child, felony theft, and disorderly conduct. He was incarcerated in the Jackson County Jail. Johns was charged with retail theft and endangering the life and health of a child. She posted bond and was released. An infant was also present in the vehicle, according to officials. They recovered a handgun and stolen merchandise from Best Buy, along with narcotics from the vehicle. There were no injuries as a result of this incident, according to officials, and the infant child was released to family after consulting with the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services. The investigation into this incident continues. Much more local news, sports, and weather is coming up next. You're listening to News 24 at 10. We'll see you tomorrow.